Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app today to get free delivery on your first 3 orders, while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Hey, podcast listeners. Great news. All your favorite comedy podcasts can be enjoyed ad-free on Amazon Music. Listen to your favorite music plus top podcasts completely ad-free on Amazon Music, included with your Prime membership. Dive into a world of laughs by downloading the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Getting the smile and confidence you've been dreaming about, all from the comfort of your home, isn't a total mystery with Byte clear aligners. Just don't be surprised if all your friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Byte clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
I feel like I start every week off saying there's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. That's my imitation of myself. There's so much to talk about. But the thing is, we will always have so much to talk about because when you spend your life talking about the trashiest, most unimportant things, there is an endless well. It is a bottomless pit. Life is good. Life is really good when you do what we do, which is basically talking shit. Because there's never like a dearth of shit.
Well, now it's like, oh, Kevin Costner and Jewel touched. Are they fucking? Have they been fucking for 17 years? Like what we constitute as celebrity news the bar is below sea level, as I like to say.
Would you agree? There is no bar. There is no bar. And Kevin Costner is dancing with Jules. Absolutely. There's a dancing with Jewel. I feel like we're supposed to make a teeth joke, talk about him being 100 years old, but you know what? Let them fuck. Go for it.
Who
You're rich,
cares?
you're famous, stick it in.
Yeah.
You know who does care? 50 Cent does care about Sean P. Diddy Combs going to jail. He's not going to rest until Diddy goes to jail. And he is funding, have you heard of this documentary about the Diddy crimes, the Diddy accusations? Like, they're not even called yet, and he's casting it. Well, it's a documentary. He's not casting it, but he is producing it.
To quote Deanna Chang, this did come across my desk, but I didn't really delve into it. Like, what is the deal?
The deal is that 50 Cent is producing a documentary about all this shit that's happening with Diddy. And
like the R. Kelly documentary
out of bitterness. Well, yeah, basically. Like, I think, 50 Cent is a petty bitch. Didn't he is this a rumor or not that he once bought up the entire stadium or the entire venue for a Ja Rule concert, just bought all the tickets on his own so no one
No. Is that real?
You've never heard that before?
I pray that's real. I pray it's real. I pray to the gods that it's real.
It's brilliantly shady.
Something that you don't remember is that he was doing a film deal with Lala from Vanderpump Rules' husband at the time. And then he messaged back. He messaged him and was like, "You owe me $1 million. Like, give it to me now." And Randall was like, Fofty. He was trying to text 50 and he texted Fofty and he was like, Fofty, I'll get you the money, like, please. And basically like 50 Cent posting those screenshots of those text messages basically ended like Randall Emmett's career and his relationship with Lala because she was like absolutely mortified. 50, he's a petty ass bitch. I know that. And not just because of Ja Rule. No, but he was like, you owe me $1 million. And he's like, I'll get it to you, I promise. Like, I need a week. And he's like, you have 24 hours. Like, you little bitch. Like, do it now.
I do not understand people. I don't understand even. Can you imagine someone calling you and saying you owe me $1 million? I would never do something where I'd owe someone $1 million. Well, like pretend to buy a house and run away. Like, what would I do if someone be like, you owe me $1 million, and I need it in 24 hours? I'd jump off a bridge.
If I owe like my credit card $1,000, I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then imagine walking around on this earth being like, I owe $1 million to someone.
You'd be dead. You know, I'm saying you'd be dead. Like if I owed someone $1 million, I would be dead. But there are probably 1 million people in the world that owe someone $1 million or more. Governments, millionaires, billion. Like that's just, I don't know. We live in the wrong side of the world financially.
You know, when people are hoarders and they're like, well, it just got so bad that I just stopped trying. Like that's what that is. Like you're like, oh, I owed someone so much money that it's like, it doesn't mean anything anymore because I'll never get out from under this.
I am not like anti-capitalist or a hater or anything like that. There should be no such thing as billionaires. It's just unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like if you have $900 million, you're good. You don't even need the extra 100 million to become a billionaire. It's just so, I don't know. At a certain point, it's just not a flex anymore.
It's correct.
It's just weird.
I agree with you.
Joshua Jackson is dating Lupita Nyong'o. This is important probably just to the two of them, but several people texted me about it, so I thought we would say it.
I mean, they're getting some play. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o, I'm surprised she's not more famous than she is because she's a great actor and absolutely stunning. And Joshua
I'd watch a sex tape of them.
Kissing her feet is what he should be doing because someone's willing to write about him.
He's gorgeous, though. I do think he's gorgeous. I would watch them. I would watch them be intimate with each other. I would watch them in front of your parents. I would watch them be intimate.
How dare you?
I want to talk about the nose. Can we call it a nose piece that Bradley Cooper is wearing in the film Maestro?
Well, Dominic, you know that I was just at the Academy Museum of Arts and Sciences.
I didn't know that.
With Natalie Katona and Julia Washington of guests of our podcast fame.
Fixies and former guest judges, yes.
We were walking into the museum and there was like the setup for like the premiere party for that movie like happening outside, but we were there at 11 o'clock in the morning, so obviously it wasn't happening until way late at night. But when I tell you, when we walked out at like 3 p.m, we were in slow motion like trying to like see anyone, and meanwhile it's just like pictures, like nothing real. It's just like little stanchions and like a red carpet, like no one there, and we're acting as if like Bradley Cooper could come out at any moment, and we're walking in slow motion like idiots being like, what? Oh, which way are we going? Like doing this whole thing.
I thought you were going to say that the nose piece was there and that you tripped over it. That's what I was hoping.
I wish.
I love it. I think he looks like Leonard Bernstein. I think it fits the character. I also think he looks sexy as hell with or without the nose. So like he could put one on his forehead and I would think it was brilliant. He's one of those for me.
Don't they do this all the time? Like people always get prosthetics in movies. It's like, this isn't that strange to me. And I have not seen pictures of it unless he looks insane. But also when you are playing a famous public figure, like you do need to look like them in the movie,
right?
Another way of the bar just being so low.
This is news. This is what is important. When people talk about current events with me, I bring these things up instead because I don't care to talk about current events. The Windsors, Wills, are they the Windsors? Wills and Kate? Are they the Sussexes or the Essexes?
No, they're the Duke
they're the
and
Windsors,
Duchess,
right?
No, they were
of Windsor.
No, they're the House of Windsor.
Do you think we're frustrating everyone who's listening who actually knows
yes,
this?
They're screaming.
No, they're the House of Windsor.
No, they're the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge.
Or something like that. Sure.
No, that's what they were before Elizabeth died. Now he's the Prince of Wales.
Got it. And she's the Queen of Wales?
Charles.
No, the Princess of Wales?
I think so.
All
People
right.
want to murder us.
Well,
People
the
are
moral of this giant conversation is that they released their Christmas card and it is black and white. They're all wearing like white shirts and dark jeans, all three kids. I mean, they're lovely, but it's in black and white. And I'm very sorry. I just don't think it's appropriate for a Christmas card because it looks like Schindler's List. I'm sorry. I had to say that. I looked at this and I'm like, the royal family. No, I'm not. The royal family should not be, given their history with their family and the Holocaust, they should not be putting anything in black and white because it looks like Schindler's List to me. I understand this is a wide turn. It is literally the first thing I thought of when I saw this photo. I'm like, you are all gorgeous in this Steven Spielberg production about an atrocity. This is not a Christmas card. Take them all back.
It's also like a JCPenney photo shoot adjacent. Like they're trolling us. They're like, oh, you guys think that we have so much money? Here, we can dress like Americans that are in Rehoboth Beach and like are taking a photo on the beach.
I cannot believe you just said Rehoboth because when I looked at all the things we were going to talk about today, that was the line that I had prepared. I was going to say like they look around. I can't believe you just said that. I swear to God. Wait, do you know that I met your cousins last night?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
How were they?
I met your cousins last night. They were fantastic. They came to my holiday show in Atlanta. They laughed at anything that remotely resembled something we say on this podcast. So I knew that fixies were there. And there were other fixies there too, some of whom I knew and some of whom only were coming to the show because they're aware of this podcast. And that has happened in Chicago and in DC. A fixie wearing a Judi Dench shirt came with her husband to see my show. I felt like I'd given birth when I saw that shirt.
Yeah.
And everyone I meet is just like, I keep telling them you're going to come with me next year for the holiday shows and maybe we'll record some pods in all these cities. But people listen to this and it weirds me out sometimes. I'm so flattered and honored and I love doing it. But when people are like, oh my God, I'm taking a picture with a famous person, which is what someone said to me in Chicago. And I looked at her, I was like, you need to be put in a home. Like, what are you talking about? If I'm famous, what is Meryl Streep? The Lord? Yeah. Like what I would that talk about a low bar.
Yeah, we are to fame as what? You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things. Like,
exactly.
Well, know that my cousins were sending me photos of you on stage and saying you don't need a neck lift. So there's that.
As I said earlier, they are lovely and incorrect. I appreciate that feedback, though.
You are aware that I'm now getting ads for like neck tightening, like things that you buy and like roll over your neck. Like for real.
Well, please save them and send them to me.
And if one is inexpensive, I will buy it for you for Christmas. But I also know that there are people in the chat on Patreon that are sending like other like ads that they're now getting for neck lift, like neck tightening. Like it's almost like a massager, but it's like to laser your neck and it's like handheld. Sponsorship. Hello, Ding Dong. We might need to write them.
I have started a revolution. Everyone's going to be down with the gobbler. Gag the gobblers. Oh, I'm so excited to get that neck lift in 2024. I'm looking forward to that and Wicked, and that's it. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to next year. By the way, we each have to claim responsibility for something that's happening in pop culture that was pitched on this podcast. Chris, you can talk about Lena in a moment, but I don't think I've discussed with you that the Golden Globes are back. They are back from pop culture purgatory, apparently. And their nominations were announced the other day, and they have a new category called the Globe for Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. And basically it's based on financials. You need to have made $150 million on a film, and $100 million of it had to be made in the United States. And then you get nominated for this award, which was my solution to fix the Oscars. But someone much trashier ran with the idea, which sort of tracks with my brand individually. So I'm fine that they took it, but a little credit should be paid here. Golden Globes. Now you're discriminating again, this time against a homosexual. I say, how dare you?
Dominic, I am in complete and utter shock. The fact that they stole this so clearly from us is appalling.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Rebecca's always like,
Yep.
everyone's listening to you. Everyone listens to your podcast. I believe it now. The Golden Globes followed your advice.
And the Golden Globes really should have been a client of ours at some point, but it just
Yeah.
got too racist-y, and then I think maybe that's why we didn't do it. And tell us, please, about Lena.
Oh, Lena Dunham is just, you know, doing a new show, not involved in it, like just writing it, doing exactly what I told her to do, not a star, just writing it with two like up and coming very big stars, Meg Stalter and what is the man's name? Something, a really hot man. All this to say, yeah, you're welcome, Lena. You're welcome. Add it to the list of people that have listened to us.
Did you see Drew Barrymore rubbing Oprah's arm? Are you aware of this scandal?
No.
Oprah is basically, to promote The Color Purple, she's going on any show that will host her. It's almost embarrassing, but it's nice to see her again. Anyway, she goes on Drew Barrymore, and you know that Drew's thing is like she like tongue kisses and fingers her guests when they're on the couch with her. And Oprah was no different. And apparently she's like caressing Oprah's arm during the interview, and that you can see Oprah like visibly make moves to sort of distance herself and do what someone that I went on a date once, which called the Oprah handshake, which is to keep people away from her for germ reasons. She holds her hands up and grabs the other person's hands. Which I guess I never really noticed, but when you think about it, that is how Oprah greets people.
No, that's her thing. Like if someone did that, I would be like, oh, Oprah. Like I would immediately connect that to Oprah Winfrey.
That's so funny. I never made that connection. I think it's fantastic. But when I look at the video of Drew and Oprah, I just see Drew being Drew. It is funny seeing her do it to someone as iconic as Oprah, but Drew can't help it. She's unhinged. Drew, in the best way, though. She's a good unhinged for me.
I love whenever like A-list celebrities are like fangirling about other people. Like that is fun to me.
Yes.
Like that was Reese.
Like the people that come to my holiday shows.
Yeah. It is basically the same thing. You are to fame. Yeah. You are to fame as Drew Barrymore is to Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them are like, do you know Chris DeRosa? To be honest with you. I'm like, yes, young Gen Z woman. I know Chris DeRosa.
Dominic, just know that I have a few tricks up my sleeve for your holiday show in New York. I'll just say that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm concerned. Is it something that will disrupt or distract from the performance?
I might have to wait till the end, but like I will. Like I might have to wait till the end so I don't throw you off your game, but I got some tricks in my sleeves. Let's just say that.
Oh, God. Have you decided where you'll be seated?
And I don't know. I'm going to have to roll the dice and figure it out.
All right. I'm going to make sure they seat you very far away from the stage, then, is what this means. If you're bringing in outside, if you're bringing props, I need to seat you far away from the stage. Remember during my Pride show when those elderly gentlemen sat right at the edge of the stage and just would not I was screaming at them from the stage and they couldn't even hear me. That's how deaf they were. I hope they come back and sit at the same table. I hope they're there.
I hope they're there and they're like silent and like just listening and like, oh, like, and they actually are fans of yours now because they had to sit through your show once for randomly no reason at all.
I will this time kick them in the head and tell them to go to the Golden Bachelor. I'm not even joking. Like get out of my house when I'm in there doing. They were
like three Jerry rejects or Gary rejects. Yeah.
They all had a lot of white hair is what I remember about them. Deborah Messing is apparently mad at Megan Mullally for being friends with Susan Sarandon. You aware of this?
That is the strangest headline we've talked about yet, and we've had some doozies this episode. Why?
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know where I heard this, probably at the United Nations or a bathhouse or one of the many other places I've been this week. But I will tell you that apparently the feud between Deborah Messing and Megan Mullally has been reignited ever since Susan Sarandon got canceled, for saying those remarks about what's happening in the Middle East. And I guess because Megan is friends with Susan, Deborah Messing is sort of like reigniting it. I'm sure everything I'm saying is hearsay, but this is not. You're not listening to a journal. This is not a news organization you've dialed into, listeners. This is just shit that we hear, but that's what I've heard.
The bar is so low.
I want Deborah Messing to take a very long break from fame. That's what I want. I think I've wanted that for a while.
The bar is just so low.
And I don't like that I feel like gay people have turned on Deborah Messing, but we should fix her. She should be the topic of something because these days I only hear negative things about her and I think she needs our help.
Add her to the list. Let's do it. Oh, Dominic, the fact that I do this every time now, but the fact that I waited this long to tell you this story. A gust of wind has told me that they think they've confirmed that I'm right about Vanessa Lachey on the set of Love is Blind.
Meaning what?
Meaning that she's at war with the production company.
Ah, interesting.
And I don't know anything more than that, and I can't say anything more than that, but just know that I'm boots on the ground up to stuff in LA, about to find out more.
Okay. You're knee deep in it. And what other phrases can we use?
I don't even know. I'm in a pod and I'm listening. I'm going to listen to a faceless being tell me the dirt, and I'm hopefully going to be able to report it back here. As much as we make up all these things, they're right. The ideas are good. We're correct about random things that we think. Like, we're getting confirmation left, right, and center.
Yeah, we really do have our ears to the ground and our boots. We're on the ground. We're just on the ground.
We're just falling. We've fallen. We've fallen on the ground.
And can't get off the ground. Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to go to our guest and our client, but I don't even know where to start with these George Santos cameos. So let's just talk about them next week because we
have too much.
It's too much. I almost can't even handle that I brought it up. I'll probably faint. I'm probably going to faint. I would like to say that I'm entering the last leg of my holiday show, and I will be at the Cutting Room in New York City. The show is almost sold out, so please snatch those teaks, and it will be this Sunday, the 16th. And then on Monday, the 18th, I'll be at Oasis in San Francisco. And then on Wednesday, the 20th, I'll be in Los Angeles at the Virgil. Please go to my website. Get those ticks, domentary.com. Love you.
Just know that past guests and cookies will be at every single one of those shows, by the way. I have confirmation.
Yeah, the cookies have been overrepresented at each location. It's pretty. There are more cookies than fixies there.
Yeah. Just know that it's happening. Anyway, guys, if you're not listening to the Patreon, I don't know what to tell you. We just put out a absolutely unhinged Aubrey O'Day episode that has a visual companion on the Fixing Famous People Instagram account that shocked the nation and the world, rightfully so. And there's much, much, much more where that came from. So if you're not in the Patreon, I don't know what to tell you. Just go to patreon.com/fixingfamouspeople, and that's all.
I mean, I know we're not a news organization, but nothing about Aubrey O'Day has ever shocked the nation. I'm going to say that. Nothing. Nothing. How dare you?
We are, if People.com's Instagram is a news organization, we are a news organization.
I guess
Thank
you're
you
right.
so much.
I guess you're
We could talk all day, obviously, as you all know, but I have the number one guest that I've wished to come on this podcast since its inception is in the waiting room, and we got to go. So I'll see you guys later.
Hallelujah!
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Okay, listeners, I am what? I am excited for this guest. I'm going to lay something on you, and it's embarrassing because I just met you 2 seconds ago. But when we were creating this podcast and people were like, who is your like pie in the sky, like dream guest to have on this show? When I tell you that Laci Mosley, Scam Goddess herself, was the #1 guest that I wrote down immediately without even thinking about it, I am telling the truth.
Aww.
And she is here. We bow to you, Scam Goddess herself, Laci Mosley.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dominic. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited. Yes.
I've been a part of the congregation for like from the jump, basically.
Wow, an OG congregate. Okay.
OG. And when I tell you that like when we were like in lockdown, like I didn't leave this apartment for 2 weeks because I live in New York and like couldn't go outside. I listened to so many episodes of your show, like laughing hysterically when I had no reason to laugh other than listening to Scam Goddess. And like, I'll always remember that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was locked in my apartment doing the episodes like an insane person, just in my apartment on a microphone and a computer like, hey. That's when we were first doing Zoom podcasts. That was the beginning of the Zoom podcast. We were doing it live and then we never looked back. Now we're all Zoom podcasting like half of the time. Yes.
It's crazy. But like truly like 2020, I was like sitting there being like, thank God Laci's still doing her podcast because I like have to like listen to this and like it's the only thing that's bringing me joy.
Oh, thank you. It was bringing me joy too. Thank you.
I'm very like I'm humbled that you allowed yourself to come on this podcast because I love you. Anyway, that's all. Okay, all brown nosing aside.
Listen, my pussy pink, my booty all brown.
Yeah. We're here. I mean, I don't even need to explain Scam Goddess is the best podcast ever. Laci goes through scammers from now, like the 1800s, everywhere in between, and just recaps all kinds of scammers. And it is the best. If you're not listening, I don't know what you're doing. It's the best.
It's very fun.
Anyway, we're not here to talk. Well, we are here to talk about a scammer, actually.
Oh,
sadly.
yeah, we are.
We're actually definitely here to talk about a scammer, and his name is Perez Hilton.
Ooh.
Even his name is a scam. That's somebody else's name.
Right?
Yeah, his name is from Perez Hilton. Like he said, like Perez Hilton was like a famous it girl, and I wrote Perez Hilton just to like get
Absolutely.
clicks. Yeah, like he has admitted that.
He was like,
well, how could he not? I mean, it was pretty obvious at the time, and he's not. Oh, you know what? I don't care how hateful he is. We still have to do what we do on this podcast,
Oh,
Laci,
true.
and that is, I know the middle name of the client, and you and Chris will have to guess what his middle name is. It's what we do around here to kick things off. Now, Perez's real name is Mario Lavandera Jr. What are your guesses for what his middle name would be?
Ooh, I gotta go Antonio.
I was gonna say Anthony which is also Dominick's middle name.
I'm so happy that I don't have that in common with him right off the bat. It is not Anthony, but it is. This is very funny. You're both in the same wheelhouse. It is Armando, Mario Armando Lavandera Jr.
Okay, that's the closest I've ever been.
That's the closest anyone's ever come. This is
Laci,
sort of like a double showcase, $1 over bullshit right here. Someone's going home with both showcases. This is great.
I got a washing machine. Yes.
You also won Chris's washing machine because you came closer. That's what we're doing here.
I knew it had a little sazon on it too.
Yeah.
And he is he was born in Miami, Florida to Cuban parents and raised in Little Havana. And he has talked about his childhood a lot, particularly when he is accusing some of the attacks on him as being racist, which they're just not.
Mario, you are a white Cuban. Let's be serious and for real. Let's be so serious and for real.
Also, not Laci using his government.
That's all he will be called for here on out, Mario.
I remember when he I mean, I went to his site probably 1,000 times a day when he was at his peak. I think
every
we all
day.
did.
Every day.
I knew it was distasteful. We could all actually see him taking it too far and like unraveling himself by just, his claim to fame was writing dirty shit on photos of celebrities, penises, cum shots, nasty words about people. He started doing it to celebrities that were underage and then routinely apologizing for it. But like, we knew it was distasteful, but we went every day because he had tea. He was doing something that other people were not doing yet.
And it was the days of MySpace. So we have to remember, like, this is like Tila Tequila. This is like the time where the internet, it was the Wild West. You could really
Correct.
just do anything on that page. And there were no regulations. It wasn't like Cardi B, like, suing Tasha K times. Like, this was when you could do and say whatever you want. You could make up things out of thin air. And Perez Hilton made that name. It was so smart because he was like, what can I do that's going to get me clicks, but also for bitches who can't read good?
Right.
You wanted to type in Perez Hilton, but you ain't been to Paris. You ain't been to France. Okay. So the girls were just guessing, and they were just going with whatever the first O was on Google, or on Ask Jeeves. We were still asking Jeeves.
It was for people that were on their computer and wasted, and they fell asleep on their keyboard. That's like what that
we were binging. This is for the Bing community.
And how dare you invoke Ask Jeeves on this podcast?
Jeeves was like, I don't know, Perez. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Do you mean Perez? Laci, you are right. Is like, it really was the Wild West where you could just do anyone could do anything. I mean, don't forget, like, he would take a photo that he found on the internet, upload it to like Paint, and then like use an eraser. That's how he drew on the people. Like,
it was like the clip art, like the little clip,
it was like
Paperclip Man was like, do you want to draw a penis? He was like, well, yes.
And then it really was like, you could do anything. And I feel like not enough when we talk about like Britney Spears and Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan and all the people that we like dragged through the mud in like the early 2000s. We don't enough point to like, look at the quote unquote celebrity news that was going around. It was Perez Hilton who was like always slamming either Britney, Paris Hilton, Amy Winehouse, Lindsay Lohan, Dina Lohan, rightfully, and like I allow that one.
Yeah, drag her.
Yeah. And then like any other, like mostly female celebrities that were like trying to do, you know what I mean? Like the fact that Britney Spears in her book did not say the words Perez Hilton is a crime. Because she should have.
Don't give him
that's on purpose. But
she should
absolutely
have slammed him left,
part.
right, and center. Do you know what I mean? Like she should have been like made some allusion to him because he was so bad to her and like so many other people.
But he would have lived, and she knew that.
Yeah,
I think that was her serving. She was like, "You mean nothing to me.
Yeah,
never seen you.
Well, she probably also truly had never seen him. Like she has no idea who he is.
I bet he wanted it so bad. I bet he must have read that book and was so disappointed that he wasn't mentioned.
Read every single page, flipping it real slow, licking his thumb every single page, just hoping to get a glimmer of Mario. And I bet you he was gagged. I bet you when he got to the end, he was like flipping over the editor note, like just hoping.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
like,
I'm
like
sure
an acknowledgement. Yeah,
like, acknowledgement. He was like, I gotta be in here somewhere. I ruined this bitch's life.
I bet he's lobbying her to be in the follow-up. Actually, it just needs to be about him. He's
in Barnes and Noble, just like writing himself in the back. Like, but I also ruined her life too. It wasn't just Justin. He wasn't the only crunchy-haired blonde who ruined her life.
Yeah, and whenever Justin was laying on the floor, like with his guitar, he also opened up his computer to PerezHilton.com.
Right, she is. I told him that.
As I was doing my research for this episode, the research which began maybe about a minute after we started recording, I am really just stunned by how much shit he did before the thing that I thought was his Molly, you're in danger girl moment. Because the moment for me when I knew he was done was when he revealed who won RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 2 or 3. It was whenever Raja won Drag Race. And he posted on his site before the show aired because that was back then they didn't record 3 separate endings the way that they do now on certain competition shows. They recorded just the one for who actually won. And when he spilled that Raja won, that moment, just speaking first as a reality producer, changed a lot of things about how shit is recorded on reality shows. Because if you want to record a live to tape result show, you have to now record multiple endings because of what Perez Hilton did to RuPaul's Drag Race. I also knew once he fucked with RuPaul and World of Wonder that he was going to be assassinated any time after that. And he did quickly go down not too long after that. That was, for me, that was the beginning of his end.
Wait, but Dominic, there's two things that are on my radar that are
a dozen.
way, but like huge, humongous ones that like ended him too. Are you okay? So
are you ready? Yeah,
I'm ready to go. So, I mean, let's for one whole second, like he did have us all in the palm of his hand. Like when it was popping, it was pop. Like when it was like really happening, like he was the. Now you have all these people on TikTok that think they're like Entertainment Tonight 2.0 that like think that they're like the next correspondent for like every show. He really did have us like in like he was the person. Now there's an entire industry of like this going on, aka our podcast for half of it. Like like so many, but like there's an entire industry that does this. Like he was really the only independent person that was like truly doing it.
And he would be referenced by like E! News, by Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
Like they would pick up on his stories once they gained traction and reference him on television.
Yeah, they treated him with reverence, some of them, like having him on as an expert the way they would with like Michael Musto or somebody. Like he was considered a culture expert, mostly because of he did get some scoops, but he was appealing to a younger audience and he was an internet guy. Like that was what he was one of the very first internet famous reporters in that way.
And then I remember him reporting a lot about Fergie and Josh Duhamel. Do you remember this?
No, whatever the incident was,
they were like getting
was this when Fergie was like doing flips?
No, I mean I love that video and quote it every day, but no, it was not when Fergie.
It wasn't.
No. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Listen, for what Fergie didn't have in vocals, she was gonna give you an extraness. Nobody
Absolutely.
ever asked Fergie to do none of that stuff, but she said, "I'm gonna do a flip."
She's like, "I'm doing front flips at." P.S. You know that like that morning concert thing, it starts at like 5 a.m. Like she starts performing like in Rockefeller Center at like 5:30 a.m. So
like,
not
baby,
only
you
was
got in hair and makeup at 2:30 a.m.
Yeah,
and you
correct.
doing
flips,
F5.
full on flips. It was, I mean, justice for Fergie. Let's play some basketball is all I have to say. Anyway, moving right along. He was reporting a lot on there, like, because like he was cheating on her allegedly, and then like blah blah blah. So he was reporting a lot on them, and then something happened, and I'm not going to pretend like I remember exactly what happened, but he met the Black Eyed Peas somewhere, like out or saw them, and like got into a fight with them,
right?
And like
with all of the Peas.
I don't know, like maybe
with the manager.
Like, boom,
I think it was with
boom,
his man, with the
pow.
manager.
Yeah, like truly boom boom pow. Laci, how dare you?
Only with the sweet peas. No, I think it was the manager that he had gotten into like he had claimed he'd gotten into a physical altercation with some incident in Toronto with their manager.
And then was like, went on his site and did a video where he was like calling them all the F word and like, Fergie, you're a stupid bitch, and like, fuck you, and like blah blah blah, like really like bad, like unhinged behavior. And I remember that was a thing where people were like, okay, this is like, wait, like what are you doing? Like this
that
is
was
way
someone
too far.
feeling their oats, and Glad started screaming at him saying he had to apologize, and eventually he did apologize, but he said, I'm not apologizing to Glad, I'm apologizing to the gay community. And that was when we all just sat back and went, this bitch.
Now I'm confused because I thought we took the word back. I don't say it personally because I am not a gay man, but I know people say it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's how you say it. Or
I think that one, he was like using it as an insult, like he was using it in a hurtful way, which is not okay. And then also, I mean, please, Dominic and I say it 75 times at the beginning before you come on, Laci. Well, yeah, like we're two idiots, but
like, so he was trying to use it as a slur.
Yes,
to people who are not gay. I mean, he was using it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a context. Okay,
no,
so he wasn't trying to just be like flipping. He was actually trying to He was trying to hate crime them.
Yeah, he was hate criming. He was hate criming them. Yes, correct, Laci. That's sorry. I'm so sorry. That was not explained earlier.
And
he was trying to do a hate crime. Okay.
It's to give it a little more context. It's important that a couple of years prior to that, he is credited with outing Lance Bass a couple of years before that, or forcing Lance to come out, because I think Lance knew that Perez was going to print something saying that he was gay. And so Lance had to come out because Perez was going to do that. And Perez, what is this? I'm on the wiki page. Perez told Access Hollywood, I don't think it's a bad thing. If you know something to be a fact, why not report it? Why is that still
Listen, the oppressed
taboo?
Can be the oppressor, okay?
Yeah.
There's nowhere in the rule book that says that just because you identify someone that you can't be evil, you know?
Right. Oh, no, well, that's the thing. And he's wrong. And especially as a gay man, he should consider himself to be wrong, but he didn't. And I think that was the beginning of the term. I'm still saying with fucking with Drag Race was the moment, but he's also credited with maybe pushing NPH to come out a little sooner than he wanted to, in the same vein that he was going to print something like some hard evidence or something.
Which is so ridiculous. Like, mind your fucking business. And I think, honestly, the karma that you put out, like, it will come see your ass. Like the ghosts of Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, it's seen him for the past 10 years, really. I mean, he's not,
truly.
Yeah, it has visited him.
So I have another bomb to drop on you, Dominic, is that blogs don't really exist anymore. We're in a point where like social media happens. The iPhone is like the prevailing. Like we're not on PerezHilton.com anymore to like get our celebrity news, because we can just go right to the celebrities.
Right. We get it from fixing famous people now.
Or
where I get my celebrity news.
I mean, no, we sure. Well, we get it from people.com's Instagram account. That's what we get, where we get it from.
Everyone needs a Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
That's ours.
So Perez is like, fuck, like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, I'm now like obsolete. And he started to become very good friends with a woman named Stephanie Germanotta, AKA Lady Gaga. And they started to be like, when she was rising to like that, like when she skyrocketed to fame, and like everyone was like captivated by her, she would like bring him on red carpets. They would like kiss on red carpets together. Like weirdly, they became like very good friends together. And he was then given this deal that was like his big like transition to television, where he was going to have this like talk show / I think it was like a late night kind of like almost like an Access Hollywood, but more gay, more like reality television news and like stuff that we would want to hear. And he was going to have this huge show, and they like gave all this press to it. And Lady Gaga was going to be like the first big, huge exclusive interview that he got. They like go to film it, and something happens on the set, and it's like all over the internet that like she storms off the set and blah, 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 and this and that. And it doesn't happen. And like, basically this show immediately gets canned because they're like, we just promised everyone this humongous interview and you're not delivering on it. So it gets completely wiped off the face of the earth. And Lady Gaga goes in the press and is like, we were drinking. I gave him 2 full days of my time to like interview with me and be in my house and like and I was giving him full access. And the minute that he could, he asked me about my ex-boyfriend, and he asked me all these questions after I had been drinking, and like didn't have my back and was like, you exploiting me.
Right.
So I was like, so she said like, fuck you. And like, she walked off and she didn't do it, and it ruined the whole thing. And she basically was like, you shouldn't be doing that to me. Like, I gave you so much. Like, I'm the reason that this show is existing. Like, fuck you. Like, don't ask me things that I told you not to ask me.
Why the fuck would he? Okay, first of all, bitch, you just dumb as hell. Like, you're dumb as fuck. Like, this woman, I know what happened. Lady Gaga was like, oh, look at me being a mother, helping a gay down on his luck, helping him. And then I'm sure he's just kissing her ass, all up in her booty crack, like, your mother, you're the queen, you're the queen. She's like, let me help him. I'm a benevolent queen, right? Help him. You know, she's a theater kid, okay? So I'm sure everybody around is like, girl, you are very annoying. And he's like, no, you're not, girl. Go off. Have your titties out while you're having your meeting with your management. You know? Write an album about an auntie that died that you never met, and then play it for your grandmother and try to make her cry. Do that. Be weird. Be gay.
Uh-huh.
And then the second that you get this opportunity, why don't you be gentle with her? And then you can be nasty with the rest of these bitches that you get on the show. Why would you fuck it up with the person who put you on? Go be a nasty bitch to everybody else that you get from the clout that she gave you. Why would you do that to Mother? Like, what do you do? You're biting the hand that fed you. Like,
and by that point too, he had survived too much where he was just sort of in his head becoming like this bad boy, sort of like what I would imagine Piers Morgan thinks he is, where he gets like to talk shit and keeps getting rehired. No, for real.
He thought he was a fucking mastermind. It's like, no, you're a dumbass is what you are.
That he thought he just thought he could shit on anyone and just still keep working because the brand was keep doing fucked up shit. And I'm going to keep moving forward. Like when Michael Jackson died, he had posted, he claimed for a minute that it was a publicity stunt. And then Michael Jackson actually was dead. He kept doing all these things, like horrible things, getting called out for all these horrible things and survived. So
that's what I had to realize too, as working about in scams and talking to scammers and working a lot in the scam industry. A lot of people will think because you're kind that you're stupid. And I've had to check a lot of motherfuckers. So I'm like, I'm kind, but the second that you try to play me, I will quickly remind you that I am not fucking stupid and you will be looking dumb very quickly. So that's what he thought. He thought he kissed up to her and that the whole time he was working manipulation, she actually thought that he was a kind person. And the second that he tried to ply her with alcohol and play her, she had to kick his ass. I mean, honestly, I would have beat him up too. I would have been like, give me your clothes. I would have made him walk naked down the street out of my palatial mansion and the gated community. I would have humiliated his ass. I was like, Romeo, and give me them clothes too, bitch. No, wardrobe, take all his shit. And then make him shame. I was like, if somebody find a bill, props, find a bill. Shame. Fucking leave my property.
So is Gaga the dragon that slayed Perez? What do you think that was the last slice?
Well, then it's like the dust settles and then allegedly.
Oh, I know what's coming.
He is then like looking at an apartment in her building.
Yes.
Or something like that. Or she finds out he's in her apartment.
Stalker.
Like in her building or something. And she goes on Twitter and is like, get your fucking ass out of my apartment, like all capitals. And this is like before Instagram was what it is today. So like you just see like one of the most famous people in the world like tweeting full capitals like get out of my apartment, and everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? And she finds basically she like rips him a new asshole on Twitter being like, you're trying to get into my building, you are a stalker, like go fuck yourself, like blah blah blah. And like and then that I think was like the nail in the coffin, because from her point of view, he is then trying to be petty and like stalk her and like get back at her by moving into her building to like attack her or something. Obviously, I don't think he was actually moving into her building to try to attack her, but he like it like became this huge news story because everyone was so confused.
Like Demi Lovato, like, leave her alone.
I mean,
get a job.
Exactly. It was creepy then. It sounds much creepier now. Like if that had taken place in 2023, he would have been visited by people.
Oh, there'd be an ABC. It would be like the Gaga and the Perez. Like, what are those? Like, you know what I mean? Like the Housewife and the Hustler. Like it would be like there would be a Dateline about it if that happened today.
Oh,
what is? I know he lives in the city now. He lives in Manhattan. But what does he do now? Just Perez Hilton? Should I go to the site?
Well, then he lost weight. Remember, he lost like a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
And like tried to be sexy, which then everyone was like, no thanks. Like,
that face card.
Bless her.
I don't know if we call that a card, baby. That face check. That face money order. I don't know.
So he tried to, that was like a thing. Like once he was like totally canceled and like kind of like had no prospects, he then was like, let me be sexy. And that didn't really ever pan out.
The Lulu is strong with this.
Yeah. And then I think he kind of started to like go on podcasts to be like, I feel like bad. I'm like, look what I did. Like eventually I have listened to him on podcasts where he was like, I was really hot. And then like, I think he was sued a bunch. Like I'm making all this is all.
No, you're not making it up. You're not.
Like, I remember him saying like I had a lot of lawsuits against me and I had to settle all of them. And so like all the money I made off of like everything I did, like I lost from like having to like be in court with like A, B, and C person.
Britney was involved in some of that as well.
I bet.
He was sued, but for illegally posting recordings by Britney Spears on the site in like 2007. It was like 10 uncompleted songs and unfinished recordings. And I believe they settled with the record company. He did, meaning.
Which is why he's not in that book. She knows about him. That's the Sagittarius. She said, I know about you, but I'm not talking about you. You mean nothing.
Well, and during her whole meltdown, he was, I mean, you know, the world was unkind during that, but he was the absolute empress of unkindness through the entire moment.
I saw the photo, like the photo. We all know which
on
one.
his site.
In
We
his
probably all
on Perez
did.
Hilton.
Yeah.
100%. Like 100%. And he tried to like kind of be like, I feel bad. Like he did do like an apology tour eventually. This is years later of being like, I kind of fucked up and now I have nothing to show for it now. And I'm like hated by everyone. And I like, what do I do? And everyone was kind of like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I don't really care. It's kind of like when you show contrition and it's because you have nothing left, then are you really sorry? Or is this literally the last resort, bitch, because you're broke and everyone hates you? Like, this is not real remorse. Like, you just literally have nothing left. If you were rich and somebody gave a fuck about your bitch ass, then you probably wouldn't be apologizing. You're literally only doing it because this is the only reason that people would want to hear you speak, because they literally don't give a fuck about you.
And it didn't work, or we wouldn't be talking about him right now.
Right.
Today.
Like, what's an apology if I come in and break in and rob your house and break up all your shit, and then you catch me? I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you. What do you mean? If
No,
you left here with all my shit, you wouldn't be apologizing to me.
No, he is fucked. He's given several interviews in recent years too, where he talks, because he has 3 children now. I think 3.
That was also a route I think he did. He was like, let me adopt some kids and put them on display. Like, look at y'all, I'm a father.
No, that didn't work.
I took in all these houseless kids. They didn't have no house before me. Y'all really not gonna give me a job no more when I got houseless kids? Y'all want these kids and I have a house again? Because they already had no house before. Think about the children. If y'all don't want to think about me.
Well, listen, you're in the zone here, because he, in these interviews, has said, I know that my kids are going to get bullied because of what I've done. And people are going to say shit to my kids when they see me holding their hands in public. So what you're saying is not even an exaggeration. He's still using them as a way to say, like, please leave me alone. Please help me, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not.
Who's calling the paps for Perez Hilton? Like, Perez, you're calling the paps. Mario, you call it paps when you hold your kid's hand.
Well, exactly what he informed us that Lindsay was doing all those years ago. He is now the person who probably is doing it.
He's like, yo, okay, we're going to wait in the lobby. Daddy, I'm hungry. We got to wait in the lobby till the paps come so they can see I'm holding your hand, and then we can get some sympathies. Do y'all want to eat tomorrow?
Shut up. Yeah.
These sympathies are paying the bills. We need 7 sympathies to keep the lights on.
No, but like truly. Yeah. I mean, it's not good. It's bad. This is a hard PS. Like, this is a hard, like, I have thought for days of like, how do you fix this person? Like, and it's hard. Like, it's hard.
And he's done enough actual bad shit to people that some people may not get over, that I struggled with whether or not he even qualified as a person to be on the show. But now that we've been just utterly roasting him for the past half hour, I know that he was the correct choice, because the most important qualification is, can we mock you and feel good about it?
I think the other thing I want to bring up really quickly is that the press is you have a relationship with the press. Like, it is a machine and it is its own entity. And like, when you're someone who's constantly like breaking these stories or doing this or doing that, like, and you're just making enemies, like if you're just there making enemies all the time, like, you're not, like, you have no job now because you have made enemies with every other person that could have given you a job in some form or another.
Exactly. And also the actors, like, how do you expect to be on a red carpet and nobody wants to talk to you? Because at a certain point, that's a relationship that has to be built. Like, correct. I've been on carpets, like, because people don't know this, like, especially when you're starting out, like, everyone, but like, you go on press tours and sometimes the studio pays for it, but sometimes as an actor, you pay for it. It's very expensive. Like, if you see actors at lots of red carpets and stuff, there's a good chance that either the studio, if it's a big movie, paid for it, or the actor paid for it themselves. So like, sometimes you be thinking people are popping and really they just paid a PR firm to make sure they could be at every party. Like, they're not really popping like that. It's all a game. And so when you start out, maybe nobody wants to take a picture of you, but then when you get real popping, everybody wants to take a picture, everybody wants a video, and then you get to decide who you want to talk to. So if you're somebody who's running stories about me and bleaching my booty hole and stuff, or you know, you talking, you know what I mean, or you know, you talking about what I did last weekend, or you getting pictures of my coochie stepping out of the car, I'm not going to talk to you on a carpet.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like, if you piss everybody off, then like, nobody's going to want to work with you. And he made sure to make an enemy out of everybody. I've never seen such a strong narcissist. He was running over everybody. Like, he had no loyalty. I can't believe what he did to Lady Gaga. Like, she was fucking with you when nobody would, and
no
then
one.
he didn't even wait long enough for me. I'm like, bro, the show ain't even come out. Shit ain't even aired. You go fuck her over while y'all in production. But he thought he already won. He thought because the cameras were rolling that and the contracts were signed that she couldn't fuck all that shit up. Like, you underestimated how powerful that bitch was, and that was on you. You're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And also that shows me that he hates women. I already knew that from the stuff that I heard about on his blogs. But like, you hate women, you think they're stupid, and you thought that you were smarter than her. You thought because you weaseled your way into her life that you had her. And you were wrong.
There was something about his tone. Well, it always was very anti-woman, you know, like crotch shots and everything he did to Britney, everything he did to Gaga. It was always very consistently anti-woman. But
Jealousy.
It was also probably a hint of that, or by a hint, like a ton of it, maybe a coating, maybe all of it. But there was something always that was too, you're right about the personality disorder, because it was almost too aggressive. There was something way too gleeful about the misfortune of celebrities, which is not unlike what the tone of Twitter is when anything happens to anybody. But as far as celebrities go, that sort of, that hate, like that gleeful hate of misfortune sort of started with his site. Like, it wasn't, we're all catty. It's not about being catty, but it's about the joy in fucking someone over, or the absolute joy in being guttural towards someone that was different from other gossip sites that wouldn't have existed probably if Perez did it.
It's like, you have so much more than me. You take all these pretty pictures. You live this glamorous lifestyle. So I want bad things to happen to you because my life will never be as good as yours. So when bad things happen to you, I take glee in that because I'll never have the life you have.
Dehumanizing, defacing the way a psycho would to the photo of an ex, you know, putting graffiti on it, doing exactly what he did on his site was.
And can you imagine sitting at your computer doing that?
No.
Or sitting down, taking time out of your day. Let's open up Paint. Click it, clack, 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 clack. Let's pull up the photo. Doop, doop, doop. Drag, drop. And then you're sitting there like, what color should I use today? Let's use red. Click, click, red. Drag. What are we gonna draw on Britney's face? Let's do. Well, I did a penis yesterday. Okay, let's do devil horns, and then let's add a penis with the devil horns. Like, what? Like, you're sitting there doing that.
Yeah. Well, and I remember he used to always put like little like blobs of like pee coming out of like Amy Winehouse's like skirts and stuff. Like, he would, and then meanwhile, like a month later she dies. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he was like reporting on all of her like relapses and like all that. Like, again, someone who was like in addiction, not well, not just, Paris and Britney went out drinking and it was funny. Someone who really needed help, and instead of helping her, like, or saying
her
this
dad
is bad,
was enabling her. Like, she has no one around her helping her. Boyfriend was also an addict. Like, and you're also adding to that. Like, she can open up her computer and see that you're adding pee to her leg and making fun of her weight. What?
Right.
Yeah. It's bad. But the thing that's sad is that, like, not for nothing, go on fucking TikTok. There's 900,000 million Perez Hilton wannabes that are all over there.
Well, that's why I said like that. The tone of his site is the tone of Twitter now. I mean, it is just 100%. Like the joy of, and look, I'll take a certain joy if someone who is truly hateful has a bad moment, but that's not what was happening with him. He was taking his own insecurities out on people who were just having a bad time, not who were bad people, you know? And it was, I don't know if he should be proud that he was the first sort of, it just went beyond Hedda Hopper. It was like, can you imagine Hedda Hopper drawing pee coming out of Amy Winehouse's leg in the newspaper in 1950?
No.
That's what he did. He temporarily, or maybe permanently ruined that art form, actually, you know, like of gossip, because there can be a sort of like majesty or elegance in like being a gossip columnist, like being connected. Like Liz Smith was pretty elegant as a gossip columnist. Mario Lavandera, not so.
Well, and there's like there's a realm where it's like, there's something that can be so gossipy, like, I heard that these two people are going to be doing a movie together. Not like, did you hear that Amy Winehouse went to rehab again? Right. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a world in which it can be like fun and not
titillating.
Hurtful. Yes, titillating.
Exactly.
Great word.
Exactly.
Yeah, and not like lowbrow and gauche. Like what he's doing, and also what he was doing was childish and despicable, and at times just like it wasn't even gossip. He was just making shit up and being like a goofball. Like,
Right.
what are you even doing? Like, you're on Microsoft Paint. Like, this is so goofy. And like, there was plenty of real gossip he could have been talking about. I think I don't know. It was just like loser behavior. Like, he's just such a big loser.
Yeah.
So all it was projection. It's like all his inner feelings that he was just putting out on the page. And I don't know if we could fix that. I don't know if years of therapy and I don't know, psychiatry could fix that.
He wrote a book like a year or two ago, I think, where he was talking about how Perez was created and how he became so hated and all this stuff. I didn't read it. I don't think I will, but if anyone wants those answers, it's probably in that book.
Really wrote a book?
I love the language of how he became so hated, as if it was some kind of wild force that created it. I think you have to be like how I made people hate me. Like I think you have to. I think you missing some words in there that add accountability, because became so hated just makes it seem like you tripped and failed and people hated you. Like I think.
Yeah, you tripped and failed.
I think you did some things.
In October of 2020, he published a memoir called TMI. My Life in Scandal. And in the book, he unveils, quote, the story of how Mario Lavandera became Perez Hilton, the world's first and biggest celebrity blogger, while also becoming the most hated man in Hollywood. Yeah. I don't believe that's the entire title of it, but that's what was in quotes on Wikipedia. So I just spouted out.
I'm sure that it's the entire title.
That's that Fiona Apple wrote the title of this book
correct.
as well. Yeah. I won't read it because I just don't care. I know what he did because I saw it. I lived it every day. I felt dirty about it at the time. I still did it. I still went to his site 100 times a day.
I mean, I will give him a little bit of props in the sense that he truly did take nothing and turn it into something.
Yes, he did. But now, he has come full circle.
Yeah. No, but do you know what I mean? I won't at the end of the day, he really did capitalize. This is like business porn. Like they want to be like, there was a space and no one filled it. And I had an idea to fill it. And so then we made this company and no one believed in it at all. And then finally, the stock rose and everyone loved it. And it was called Apple Computers. Like, that's like what you know what I mean? Like, that's like what every business person fucking beats off to at night.
Right.
Is like discovering this white space that they're going to conquer that blah, blah, blah. He really, he did do that.
But I feel like that's like being like, there was a space and it was filled with so much opportunity, just 6 feet under the ground. No one said I could do it. It was a cemetery filled with treasure, and I was the only one with a shovel who was ready to open that marketplace. Yeah, I'm a grave robber. Yeah, it's immoral, but I did it. I dug up every grave, and I robbed every body of every piece of jewelry I could find, and everyone said it was deplorable. Everybody said it couldn't be done.
Okay, not slipping into a
but I did it.
He did an apology tour on podcasts and no one cared. He tried it and we didn't care.
Was he really what was he saying? Because when people do apology tours, it's always like, I didn't really know my impact, or this is what I thought I was doing. I wanted to be like, I was evil as fuck. I was listening. I would be under the bathroom, start looking at people pee. I was
never going to do that. He is never going to do that.
I want everything. I want everything. Okay. I would be like, I would get people drunk and I'd be like, tell me everything. I was recording everything on my phone. I want him to just, I want all of it. And then we can move on.
Okay. I don't think he's going to do that either, but it would be great. Does Gen Z know who he is? I want to say no.
Does Gen Z know who anybody is? There was a week where the internet got so bad that Gen Z was like, I don't know, y'all. Osama bin Laden might have been on to something with that Death to America letter. Then they found out that he was a Nepo baby maybe 3 days later. And they were like, wait a minute, Osama bin Laden was a Nepo baby?
Oh my God.
That was a wild week on Twitter. I was like, Gen Z, y'all got to chill out. I know y'all don't got jobs, so y'all really get overzealous about things. But just, keep clicking on the Google. You can't just go to the first O. They got a lot of O's.
Oh my God.
Christopher,
I honestly blocked that out of my mind that that actually happened and it was really bad.
But Gen Z, they do like to dig, so I feel like they might know about Perez. Maybe they might know about him and his adoptive kids. They might know his pronouns.
Oh my God,
they
not
probably
his
don't know
kids.
much.
The website still exists. I just went to it, but there were so many ads popping up, and that the fan went on my computer, so I just
You probably
shut
just
it
gave
off.
him $1.
You know what? Well, he's given us a whole episode and got you here, so you know what? It was worth the goddamn dollar.
Yeah, I'll give him
You're
5.
welcome, Mario.
He had to get 40 ads out while you were there. He was like, "Don't go."
Yeah.
Wait,
Buy
did your back
sex,
hurt?
honey.
You need an attorney? Yeah. Christopher, is it time?
I think it's time.
It's time.
Okay, Laci, as you know, it is time for us to pitch our ideas of how to fix Perez Hilton.
I'm ready. I'm ready to
And then you are going to, you may ask questions at the end. You can do follow-up questions. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
And then it is your time to choose who you think
It's my
should win
Shark
this
Tank
episode.
moment.
Yeah.
This
Keep
is it.
stretching.
Okay. This is Dominick's favorite part of the whole show. Perez Hilton. You are going to broker a deal with the very famous Instagram account, Dumois. You are going to start slowly, but you're going to start taking over Dumois' account. No one will know that it's you. And slowly but surely, you're going to go from doing it like once an hour to like completely taking over the account, where you start to post very Perez Hilton-esque things, but in a very sly, like trickle in the Perez Hilton sauce into Dumois. After a month, maybe 2 months of this, where Dumois is like blowing up with so much tea and like so much stuff, you are going to reveal that it has been you for the past 2 months. And like the reason that there's so much traffic coming to the site and we're hearing so many random things that we would never hear on Dumois was because you, Perez Hilton, were running, like, who in my opinion is now your replacement, and a not as mean, but just as stupid replacement to Dumois. And once you reveal that, everyone is going to be talking about you. Everyone is going to like be writing articles about you. And then hopefully you can get at least one, either news special, retrospective, kind of like Perez's impact on pop culture, Netflix 4-part series, etc., etc. And then you can at least try to do your apology tour and have people actually care about it. Because he doesn't need, right now, if he does anything, no one cares. No one cares.
Right.
But if he can weasel his way back into our lives without us knowing, and then reveal himself, then we care again. And then he can try to do what Laci said and say, I'm an evil piece of shit. And like, I knew I was evil and I've always been evil and I'm still evil. And that is my pitch.
I am going in a much different direction.
I couldn't tell, Dominic.
Perez Hilton. I want the lack of forgiveness for this man to continue forever, and I want it to be amplified and broadcast. I really wasn't even thinking of this until Laci said, does Gen Z know who he is? And now I want Gen Z to know who he is. So I've adjusted my pitch slightly just based on that brief statement. I want him to do a volunteer to do a round table where he's going to apologize to the people whose lives he has affected negatively. And he will be in the Andy Cohen spot, and reserved spots on the couches for Britney, Gaga, Lance Bass, Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande, the Black Eyed Peas, all just a bunch of, like, a spot for everybody. This is something that will stream live somewhere, but internet based, not production company or network based, for this reason, because we want all these people to be invited and none of them will show up. All right. So it's going to be him sitting there alone. We're going to bill invited guests and we're going to list all these people that he fucked over. And he's going to say, I just want you all to come. Maybe one or two of the lesser. I doubt they, you know what I bet would show up is Perez Hilton. I bet Paris would show up.
No, she would
I don't know. I don't know. But here's the caveat. At the end of this special that no one shows up to, I want him to be cancel culture's first and most hideously ruined figures. And I want him to live stream himself throwing himself into a volcano because he knows his life can't go on any longer. And that this is what happens when you're mean-spirited. I want him to go live, hold the phone in his hand, using a medium and a genre that he helped shove up everyone's ass in the O's and just use it to say, I invented this meanness and now it's killing me. And then just while live streaming, jump into a volcano. Like, I just don't.
So Dominic, question from you. Are we on a set where we've invited the guests, or are the guests also supposed to show up near the active volcano?
No, these are two separate. Yeah, no, thank you for that question. The set is not at the base of this volcano. What?
This is a dark one, Dominic.
Well, it's dark.
They can't
Chris,
all be.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
If he were to do the Secret Demois, is he posting in the Demois format, or is
Correct.
he posting in his
Correct. No.
Perez
It's Dumois
format?
format. No, because if he posts Perez format, the jig is up. Like he is posting as Dumois.
Okay. I will say, Dominic, you had me in the first half. I was down to see cancel culture work and him be alone on the stage and embarrassed. And for the first time, as all these comedians complain about cancel culture, as they have not been canceled, as they complain about silence, as we can clearly hear them, but they're saying they're being silenced. But it's like, I'm reading this, so clearly you're not being silenced, because like that means I can't hear you or read you, but I'm seeing it. I was with you until we got to the defenestrating into the volcano, which we took a hard left turn there.
I can only speak from my heart, Lacey. I don't know.
And I don't know if we fix it with a volcano.
Well, I think a little bigger than you, I guess. I don't know what you want.
That's much bigger. Volcanoes are very large. So Chris, I am gonna have to go with the Demois. I will say that I do have a note for the Demois, though.
Okay.
My only note for that is that I would have gone TMZ, because I feel like they're brand-wise, like Demois, like they're a little classier, and but that could reframe him into a much more classier landscape.
Yes.
But I just feel like TMZ, it would free him to still be hated, and I don't know if he's like ever going to be a good enough person to really keep up with the fray of Demois, which tends to be like less. Like, who is Demois? I don't know. They keep it pretty under the fray. I don't know how long Perez could stay that good. Whereas TMZ, like, he could still be a certain level of trash and, keep his. But you have high aspirations for him.
I'm surprised we didn't even bring up TMZ, because TMZ basically is him now. Like TMZ is the last remaining news. I use the word.
They break celebrity
news.
deaths before the families know. That's very him.
Yeah, like they are the last
bastion
living member
of terrible celebrity news
for sure.
Well, as I've not actually been to Demois' page until just this second, and Perez himself does comment on some of the stories on there.
Stop.
I swear to God.
So you were on there, Chris. He's aspiring to be Demois. You're right. You might be right.
He's like, you have my career. He's like, I could have fucking done this. Like, fuck.
He could have been classier. Now he's hating on Demois. He's gonna start drawing penises on Demois.
Yeah, a nameless figure like of the woman.
So Chris, you were right. Yeah, you. Congratulations.
That's a win for me. I think Dominic, are we tied? Are we tied now?
I think so. I think this does make us tied. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But Dominic, I would say your special thing could also work for him. Like, if he did like celebrities who really need some clout too, if we brought the level down to like celebrities whose lives that he ruined, who could really use like an internet special where they all would be mutually benefited from.
Sure.
Like the girls who we haven't heard, like, who's saying that you and your beautiful soul, whoever the hell that
Jesse
is.
McCartney.
Yeah, like let's round them girls up. And then you know what I mean? Like, people who could all use a boost from this, and they could sit down and talk about how he ruined their lives, and he could apologize, and like everybody would watch that, and then all of we'd be like, we haven't seen this person in forever.
I'm feeling a telethon. I'm feeling a telethon, an absolute telethon.
Yeah, a telethon.
These people, some of the lesser known people who Perez knocked out of pop culture. Let's bring a whole GoFundMe.
And they could blame him for their failed careers. And he could apologize, and then everybody would be like, "Oh my God, we ain't seen Beautiful Soul in forever." And then like maybe he could be like, "I got a new song coming out, y'all. It's called Beautiful Mind." Like everybody could win. Everybody could win.
Still needs more volcano, but I do like where you are going with it. I do like it.
Oh God. Well, this was big. This was big.
You're welcome, Mario. You're welcome.
You're welcome, Mario.
Laci, thank you so much for being here. I can't stress enough how much I love you. I am such a fan. This is truly my dream come true. If you're not listening to Scam Goddess, I don't know what the fuck you are doing. Get your ass over there right now. And you will, one, stop listening to this podcast because we are nowhere near as funny as Laci.
Listening. Y'all are amazing.
And you are going to shoot tears out of your eyes in public. So prepare yourself for that. Laci, obviously your podcast is Scam Goddess. Where can everyone find you?
Yes, you can find me at Scam Goddess on all platforms. And then if you want to follow me, DIVALACI Diva Laci on all platforms. Yes. And Chris, this has been so fun. I'm so glad I could give you a tie win. Yes.
Thank you. Yes. No, this was very important that you snuck this in because I've been in the back for months now. So this has been everything.
Look, I know that I'm about to be overtaken, and probably because Chris is so logical, and I have now crossed over to suicide with these people. So I'm gonna keep losing every week now.
But the funniest suicide. A volcano, very hard to add.
I mean, if you're gonna kill yourself, please,
my God.
Please.
Dominick, where can people find you?
People can find me at my website, dominatory.com, or on socials at Dominick Pupa. I still have a couple of holiday shows left this Saturday in New York at the Cutting Room, and then next week in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Please go to my website to find out.
Oh, and if you're in San Francisco, January 21st, San Francisco Sketch Fest, Cobb's Theater, 7 p.m., January 21st. You can come see Scam Goddess live.
Go see her now. Buy tickets.
Christopher, the main question everyone has in this podcast, always, every week, is where can we find Chris DeRosa on the internet?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. Leave us a review and let us know who you want us to fix next. Buy the holiday candles at Fixing Famous People Instagram account. And obviously, I wish you both well. And where's Shelly? Goodbye.
Miss Scavenge?
Yes.